When we picture heart disease, we imagine a plumbing problem. We think of arteries as rigid metal pipes, filling up with immovable sludge. It's a bleak way to look at the human body. If you picture your arteries as rusty pipes, a diagnosis feels like a permanent sentence. The damage is done, the pipes are ruined, and you simply have to live with a slow, steady decline. But what if that entire way of thinking is backward? What if the very foundation of how we picture cardiovascular health is completely wrong? When we treat our living, breathing bodies like dead, inanimate metal, we trap ourselves. We stop looking for a way to actually heal. Enter Dr. Peter Megdal. Peter is a biopharmaceutical scientist, someone whose entire career is built on understanding exactly how the human body operates at a microscopic level. In 2014, Peter received a severe diagnosis: atherosclerotic heart disease. Simply put, his arteries were dangerously blocked by plaque. Under that old plumbing mindset, this meant the end of the road. His days of being a highly active, competitive athlete were supposedly over for good. Peter refused to accept that. His training as a scientist kicked in. He knew he had to look past the standard advice and question the true nature of what was happening inside his chest. To save his own life, he needed to prove that his arteries were living tissue that could recover, rather than broken pipes waiting for a surgical replacement. Here is how Peter approached the problem. He threw out the pipe metaphor entirely, looking at the artery as a vibrant, living ecosystem of active cells. Think of your cardiovascular system like a living garden. A garden doesn't break down randomly. It responds directly to the soil, water, and environment you provide it. When you pour toxic chemicals onto a garden, the ecosystem degrades and shrinks away. The exact same thing happens to arterial tissue in a poor internal environment. But remove those toxic inputs, and the living system actively regrows and repairs itself. Heart disease is a biological reaction to a toxic environment. Because we are dealing with biology rather than metal, that reaction can be changed. Peter set to work, diving into years of peer-reviewed medical research. He was searching for actionable, evidence-based nutrition science. By carefully changing the food he ate, he altered the chemical environment flowing through his bloodstream. He stopped poisoning the garden and started nourishing it. In this cross-section, yellow shapes represent plaque restricting blood flow. Create a healthy internal environment, and the body begins to dissolve these blockages. It takes years of rigorous commitment, but eventually the pathway opens back up. Applied, peer-reviewed nutrition science targets the root cause of the disease, allowing the body to actively reverse the damage. Fast forward to nearly a decade after that grim diagnosis. We are at the Bicentennial Velodromo in Aguascalientes, Mexico. Peter Megdal, now in his early 60s, steps onto the track. He's here to attempt the men's age 60 to 64 world record for the 1-hour ride. For 60 grueling minutes, Peter pushes his body to the absolute limit, holding a high-speed aerodynamic tuck and generating immense power lap after lap. This digital stopwatch shows the final result. When the 60-minute timer hits 0, the counter locks in. 47.430 kilometers, or nearly 29.5 miles ridden in a single hour, a new world record. This record-breaking performance was only possible because Peter's medical tests confirmed the blockages were gone. His heart wasn't a clogged pipe being managed, it had become a rejuvenated engine. A diagnosis of heart disease does not have to be a permanent, one-way street toward decline. Peter's recovery is an incredible story, but he is not a genetic anomaly. His results came from reproducible, peer-reviewed science that anyone can study and apply. To help others achieve this, Peter created CuringHeartDisease.com, a platform dedicated to teaching this biological approach. The platform takes the exact same medical evidence that cardiologists use and translates it into clear, actionable language that anyone can understand. Taking control of your cardiovascular health is entirely possible, and it begins the moment you change how you understand your own biology.